So welcome everybody to this week's session. I think as you can see and from the feedback we had last week, there's a lot of interest in these client sites and client portals. So we're going to be continuing on and using it. And I've been playing around even more this week and getting very excited about some things that work with it. And a couple of our clients have also contacted me. Roland would like some more training, direct training on it.
Fantastic. And this is exactly what these sessions are for, Trevor. There's an immense amount of functionality in some of the software products that we use that we don't even scratch the surface on. No. Okay, and SharePoint's a classic example. The amount of different things you can do with SharePoint is phenomenal. I say to people sometimes, what can SharePoint do? I said, out of the box, without writing one line of code, SharePoint does 147 different business functions, which is it's exactly right. It's what they do if you include all the different components in there. But people don't know that. They think it's a document management system, an intranet, an extranet, a business intelligence portal. The list goes on, literally 147 different functions. So what we're starting to see now, guys, is we're starting to extend what most people use SharePoint for, and we're starting to really dig a little bit deeper and say, wow, this is an incredibly powerful product. For those people on the call, if you wonder what SharePoint's done for the last 15 years to make it from a nothing product to something that's one of the primary document management repositories for enterprises around the world in 15 years, it's been a journey, and a lot of functionalities, a lot of listening to customers has gone on, and that's what we're doing last week and this week. We're listening to you guys and saying, what is it you would really like SharePoint to be able to do? What is your wish list for SharePoint? If you could, set up an email, wishlist@HubOne.com. Tristan's with me right now. He's busy setting up wishlist@HubOne.com. And, I wish SharePoint could do this. There's actually
Sorry, Roland. My apologies.
That's okay. There's a thing at Microsoft called DCRs, or design change requests. So when you see something within a product that you think, wow, what would be awesome is if it did this and this instead of that, you can actually submit a DCR and that goes through to the product team. So there's been years of these design change requests, and what we're going to look at today is some of the more in-depth features around SharePoint. And Trev, you're really going to be taking the lead today, because
I am, and I'm going to really drive through. I'm going to actually go through and do some real-world examples, because what we do, Roland, and on these calls, it's about you don't know what you don't know. One is exactly that, to get you thinking about what can SharePoint do, get those juices flowing, get you thinking, gosh, if it can do anything, what's really do I want to do? So it's giving you little snippets of what it is. And Roland does get very technical when he's talking about it, I think. So he goes into the details. Now that's setting the foundations for your learning. That's setting you so that you don't have to know everything about what he's talking about, but you understand the foundations of what's going on in the background of SharePoint and the intricacies and complexities of it, so that you can understand it a bit more. And I'm learning every day as we go through these processes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to present my screen, and I'm going to go through a process with you, Roland, and I'm going to ask you questions about those fundamentals that we've done as we're building the site. So I'm going to go through from start to finish. I'm going to create a site. I'm going to share that site with you using one of your emails. You're going to show the audience what you get as an email, so that they can understand what their clients are getting. I'm going to show the email that I get back and forth, and I'm going to show you some of the things, the emails that I've been getting, especially with surveys, the feedback I'm getting from the system about what's going on in these surveys. So let's begin, I suppose.
Let's get straight into it. Yeah. So your objective here today, your business objective, is really to extend some of the SharePoint functionality out to your clients, get them to collaborate with you when creating content, and that content could be surveys, it could be filling in different forms, but essentially
a document.
Yes.
Just this morning I was talking to, so just so everybody does know, I've sort of gone back into, because I felt like I was falling away from that knowledge and understanding of how an accounting firm works. Strangely enough, within a couple of years that can happen. I've always kept my details up to date. I've always kept my registrations and so forth. So what I've done is I've set up my own SharePoint site for my own little accounting practice. I've got very few clients, and I'm not intending to go and grow it or anything like that in any shape or form. but I'm using it as our test site, as a place that we can go and really test these products beforehand. So one of the things that I did find when I was using all the HubOne tools is that my permissions just didn't have enough rights or enough power to go and do these things properly. So this gives me a good little test site for me to go and break things effectively, isn't it? If I want to, it's not going to do too much damage. So as everybody knows, I should be able to see my screen. This is the One Practice portal. The One Practice portal's got your document center, and we've got our client sites. We click on the client sites, it takes us into the client sites area, and within the client sites area, down the left-hand side, I can see there's a few of my sub-sites that I've set. Now, one of the things that I'm seeing within here is also, if I click on SharePoint, one thing you need, I've been seeing is this new user interface is making this really amazing place to work. I can follow favorites sites for favorite clients of mine that I want to do. So this might be somewhere that you go to have a look at. I can see the document center, and I've got my other areas. So I can, to navigate back and forth, just so you understand, One Practice portal is One Practice portal, document center is your client document center, those sort of things. So that's just SharePoint. All we've done is created links. And if I want to go to Roland's site, Leggett Family Trust, I can click on to the Leggett Family Trust, and we can click on there. Now, if I look at Roland's site, before we jump in there, you can see we've got news feeds, and I can communicate with Roland, and he can communicate with me. So he can log in there, put notes about things. Now, what's really cool is I can set notifications, and as an individual, you can have different people in your firm to say, and notify me when something changes in this particular site, and which is really easy to do. So we can set up notifications to say, I want to know if a client's added a document or put a post in the site feed. So we can do all of those things.
Trevor, why would that help me?
Why would that help me? Because I want to know if you're Roland, you're my client, and you go, here's a document that I want you to do. I've completed my tax return survey. I'm not going to know unless I get notified of it.
Okay, so that saves me giving you a call or sending you an email saying, Trevor, I've completed that, because what will happen is once I've completed it, if you set up an alert, guys, it's called an alert on a document or on a site when somebody changes a document. Basically, you're saying, I'm just keeping my finger on the pulse on that document, so when there's an update, instead of that person having to engage in another form of communication to notify me that there's been a change, it'll automatically tell me that the person's changed the document.
Mm-hmm. So when we're looking at in those things, Roland, just run me through when we're following. So I'm following this page, right? But with the notifications, I've gone and set them up. I've seen the buttons and so forth. But to do that, you've got to click in Site Settings. Is that?
You can configure your own notifications, and guys, I want to put a little bit of a caveat on here. Only set up alerts on things that you really want to be notified by. All right, because I've had situations before where people have said, that's important, that document's important, that document's important. I had one person set up over 300 alerts on different documents. And then they came and they said, all right, we've got a big problem, SharePoint spamming me. I'm like, why is SharePoint spamming you? And they said, we get all these emails. So then they want me to set up a rule in Outlook to send all the stuff automatically to a junk folder. And I said, well, guys, that's, that's going the wrong way around. Why don't we just unsubscribe to all of these alerts? So when you subscribe to a particular folder, okay, you say, alert me when that folder changes, or you can do it on a file, alert me when that file changes, and it's then going to send you an email. So use this cautiously. You don't want to spam yourself. It's not cool. It's Trevor saying there, alert me, you receive an email or mobile notifications when this changes. And you can even get very specific about it. When you can say when someone reads it, when someone edits a document, you can get quite granular there about your alerts. But use alerts with caution, please.
Yeah, too many alerts means just defeats.
And you can see there, and if you're not sure, you can get a summary of your alerts. Exactly. Does anybody want more email on the call? No. So why are you going to say to SharePoint, send me spam? What I like is spam.
Could you set the alert up? And this is one of the things that we do get when we've got alerts when we do the training on searching. Yeah. Can we set the alerts up that I get a single email that tells me this these are the changes that happen in your client sites.
So what you're looking at there, you want to try and get a digest email, and alerts don't really work like that because you might want to be notified straight away on the document. And what digests do, like on Yammer, you get a digest email. So it's like the Reader's Digest. Give me a summary of this month. Give me a summary of this week. Now, by default on Yammer, what we do is we set up a daily digest. So instead of notifying you when somebody posts something or replies to your post or post something in Yammer, what it'll do is it'll send you a summary at the end of the day. Now, if somebody replies directly to one of your posts, you will get notified straight away. And that's what alerts are like. You're saying, this is a document I'm concerned about, and it's like having a post in Yammer. If someone replies directly to that, you get an alert. This is a document I'm concerned about. Someone edits that document directly, you get an alert. So in answer to your question, no, I can't set up digests for alert.
But I could go, if I went, for example, to the Beaujart family, and if someone made a change to the personal income tax return questionnaire, or if I put documents for clients to sign in there, and that client changed that particular document. Now, I've been mucking around with a few of the settings. I'm going to change the setting. So I could say on that down to that document, I want to know when Nick has edited that or worked or viewed those particular documents.
Yep.
And then I can say, okay, well, I know that's happened now. So those sort of things. And you could turn the alerts off. So you could be working, I could be working on the Beaujart family at the particular time, and I know that they're going to start to be using that particular site. So go in there, set my alerts on the site because I want to monitor what's going on with that. And then we can then turn those alerts off so we don't get too much information on there.
Exactly.
So it's a really fine balance, but you know, it's a matter of being able to manage those processes. So let me just go in on one thing. Firstly, I want to go in, I want to change the look and feel of this particular site because I'm going to use this site as my template feel. So I'm actually going to get it a bit funky because I was halfway through this.
Normally what you do, guys, when we look at the SharePoint site design, you would change the look and feel of the site when you wanted that site to be separate, or you wanted a visual notification that you have moved from one site into another site. So this isn't a bad thing because sometimes if you've got 15 sites that look all the same, you can get confused as to where you are without looking in the URL. So if that makes sense, you might say, well, my modern practice portal, my MPP site and my client sites are going to have this theme, whereas all of my customer-facing sites are going to have a different theme. And guys, applying a theme here is very much like applying a theme for your desktop. Right, so sometimes you say, well, I want to change the look and feel of my desktop. I'm going to change the theme of my desktop. It'll go through, change the font, change the color, change the headings. And that's exactly what we've seen here happen on Trevor's site. The site and the content hasn't changed. It's like when you change your desktop theme, it doesn't remove stuff from your My Documents folder. It just changes the look and feel of that folder. And this is what Trevor's done.
Yep. So within that, I've changed that. Now I can save this site as a template. Now, if you don't see this save this site as a template, contact support at HubOne. There's a little change. It should be all there because when we set your sites up, those things go through. But we might need to do that. So you've got to look at these areas, and that's why you don't know what you don't know is important. There is no way you would know that is available unless you had the right settings set on there. So as by default, those settings aren't set in SharePoint. We turn them on for you. So in this case, I'm going to call this a client site template so that I can use it. Template name, I can call it the same thing. And client. Something like that. And I want to include the content. Is that correct? Include contact in your new web creating.
Well, this is very interesting now. So Bob is asking the question, can we create a custom theme? You can create a custom theme, Bobby, definitely. But what Trevor's going to do now is he's actually going to create a template instead of creating just a custom theme. Now, so what he's done is created the perfect site for a customer. He's saved within that site his surveys and his questions, or something went wrong. I love this. The file path is too short for it. So go back. The file path is too long. document. All right.
I'll just change that out.
Yes, yeah. So keep the template name short. Actually, to remove the space in there, Trevor, it's best to remove the spaces.
Yeah.
So, guys, whenever there's a space, what it does is it puts like a %20 in there. So the rule of thumb with URLs, keep them short, keep them sweet, keep the spaces out of them. Okay.
It's not like
Tristan just posted in there about how we can create custom sites. Okay. So what we're going to do, instead of creating a custom site, we're actually just going to create a template here. We're going to use this site as the basis for a lot of other sites. And the reason why we're doing that, so we're saving the site as a template, the reason why we're doing that is we've got intellectual property and content in there that we want to replicate. So instead of redoing it in another site, we're actually saying, you know what, guys, a website is not unlike a Word document where I can save a Word document as a template because I've got to repeat this content all the time. And this is just beautiful because we're trying to save something and it's not saving for us. We did this the other day and it worked perfectly in our trial.
I think it's because of
You've got to, folder names are too long. Yes, there is.
Oh. Anyway, we can go and do that. So what I'm going to do, so one of the things that I hadn't shown you within the look and feel is updating logos. So within the site, each site setting, and when you're doing that, you can actually update description and logo, those sort of things within there. So I've uploaded my logo, so whenever I create a site within my template, it's going to do it. Not sure why. Anyway, I won't spend hours, but that's what we're doing, and we'll get that sorted out so that next time I can show you. So to create a new site from scratch, and unfortunately I'm not going to get my template that's going to be in there. I just go back to my client sites.
But we have created that template, guys, and this is one of the pieces of intellectual property that Trevor was talking about last week. If you're a subscriber to HubOne, please contact Trevor with regards getting the stuff that he's built into the site. So into the site itself, we built a folder structure so that you can communicate with your customers. You can share the site with your customers, or just share the site with your clients. And we've also gone and put in questions around tax returns within that structure.
Yeah. I'll go through and show everybody how that works and how do you create a new survey, but within that part. But to add an application to create a new subsite, all you're doing is clicking on. We showed you this last week. Create new subsite. Within the new subsite, we'll call it something. I'm just going to call this one individual because I'm thinking about something here going forward. I can put in there ITR, team site. Remember, always use unique permissions. If you use the same permissions as the parent site, it will apply those permissions. Roland, one thing I'm not sure of, if I create my template, will it apply the same permissions?
The template is going to really strip out the permissions, Trevor, and then it's going to reassign the permissions when you use that template to create a site.
So we've got to go through this process every time.
Exactly. In this case, what's happening is we're using a template, which is team sites, to create a site. So that team site is saying, hey, I've got no permissions at the moment. They've been stripped off. Would you like me to inherit the permissions from this parent site?
Yeah.
That's what's prompting us for the question. So in answer to your question, the template will not contain the permissions. They will be stripped.
Yep. And then I've got to set my permissions.
Yes,
so
because we've broken inheritance.
I want to set them in there. I want to create a new group for those individual tax returns or this particular family members and so forth. I then use existing groups for my owners and my members. So I go through the same process: team site members, team site owners. So that flows through in the same process. So all I'm doing is I'm keeping those permissions the same, but the visitors I'm setting unique permissions for so they can't see the rest of the data we've got in our site. Okay, so in this case I haven't picked it up, but I'm going to go through and I'm going to share this site just with Roland, just so that he can see it. Now, Roland, what's an email address that you would have that's not an organizational account, so not an Office 365?
All right, so you can use my Rolly Leggett at outlook.com. So it's just, I put it in the window there, Rolly Leggett at outlook.com for you, Trev.
1L.
So that, yep, Leggett with 1L, 2 G's, AT. Yep. So that is not a work account. That's not an Office 365 account. That is not associated in any way, shape, or form with this site that Trevor has here.
and I would say this is set up a standard script for this. This is a link to your client portal. Use this link to securely transfer documents to us, and so forth. Can you set up subsites with this where you make privacy of individual? Yes, that's exactly what we're doing with that. This is a link to your client portal. Blah blah blah, and we'd said all those sort of things. Now I'm going from scratch to this so everybody can see what we're going to be doing here. So I've sent Roland the link. I then can create all my new documents in folders, like using SharePoint within here. So folders that I might set up is, I might call it a client document and upload center. So that might be a document or a folder I will always track, and I'll encourage my clients to add new documents in there. I might have a copy of tax return or prior year tax returns and financials. I'll just do that. And I might have documents for signature so that the client knows if there's documents for signature, and they can also set those permissions. If they're a user, like I've had some of my clients are a little bit more advanced, and some people just don't know how to do anything with this. And one of my clients who is seriously, he cannot and will not move away from anything to do with his Yahoo account. I got him access to it, and he was able to work with that document.
Fantastic,
really well.
Fantastic. So, guys, we can set permissions up, and I've typed in the IAM window at the folder and at the file level. The best practices is to set it up at the site level, and that's why we've gone through and made the effort of creating client sites for different clients, and then that is going to be the central repository where you communicate and collaborate with your client on a secured shared space.
Yep. And then we're looking in here, and I go title, description, logo, and I'm looking at so many different things, and I want to upload the logo from there. So I'll go and from my computer, really easy to follow, choose the file, go to pictures, find my logo, and I've uploaded my logo into there. So there are a lot of different colors and fonts and all of those sort of things that you can do. Creating and putting your logo in is really easy to do. And I've created the bare bones of my individual tax returns template. Now, what's going through my head, Roland, is I'm thinking, if I had that, then I've got my client surveys on there. And then I publish that client survey as a link on my website.
Yes.
I can push my new clients to that survey. They can populate the information, and that information is going to go into my individual tax returns as an example.
Yes.
Area where I can capture the information.
Yep, I mean, I see a lot of people using things like SurveyMonkey and stuff like that for surveys, and you could expose a SharePoint survey to your customers and then get all the details, get all the results in like an Excel spreadsheet or something.
So here's another example. One of my other clients, I've asked him for permission that I can show him this because we only just started working with it this week, and I said, would it be okay if I just showed some of our accountants how we've started working together on these documents? So I got a little bit of work to do. I've got to put a copy of his company and trust documents in there. But when we started to look at the information, he's going to put all his information in there. He's worked out how to do it. Put copies of his PAYG notification.
Fantastic.
All of that information's been stored in there. Now, when I started, now, for me, where we're using this, I'm saying this solves one of my problems which I've had with my client documents. Because one of the problems we've had is that when people set up their individual client sites, their documents sites in the client document center, is they don't know which one's relative to which year and where are the original documents. Now I've got all my original documents stored in there, and then I can move over the documents as I'm working on them to my document center so I can keep track of it. But realistically, do I have to roll it? I've got my information here. Why do I need to move those original documents?
No, you don't need to move those original documents. The only thing is at the moment you have got you sharing that with the client. So if something goes wrong that the client chooses to delete it, unless you, because at the moment you've given them read-write. That's why it's writing content into there. So, that would be my only caveat, really.
So one of the things that Nick and I have started to talk about, just for everybody else to think about, is to start thinking about workflows. Now, this is all new to me. Workflows are going to be where we're going to come up with processes where where a particular folder or a particular document will automatically save into the link. How do you share this link with the website, Roland? I think you're typing a message there. So let's go and have a look back at that.
I'm typing a message just to clarify the question.
Survey that we had there. So this is, it's great. We're getting loads of communication, lots of discussion on this. So that folder, once we can do that, I can save that as a template, and I can share this particular theme with you guys, especially our subscription clients. They then can get the survey. They can have all the theme, they can have the folders, they can have all of those sort of things, and then we can upload it there, and then you can change it and create your own template that matches the way you want to work and feel. Yep, so let me just go back to SharePoint again, go into Nix. This is where I've got the survey in Beaujard family. Of course, that's not coming up because I'm not favoriting that.
Yeah, let's have a look at that survey.
There it is here. So, personal income tax return questionnaire, year-end questionnaire. So, creating the survey, I've gone through and I've just grabbed a bunch of questions, and I've created those questions, and it just is really easy. Add a question, but I can go and have a look and manage those questions that I've got in there. And when I create a question, I get an option to do a number of things. I can choose the type of response that I want. And even then, once I've created those questions, I can create another link where I can ask it to, when they answer a question a particular way, that it will flow through to a different area. So in this case, if I said in here, what's your tax for return? Have you changed your address? If they say no, and they're already a client of mine, are you a new client of Turniton? Yes. Well, then I need to just go home address, tax file number, and all of those details. So I lay the bunch of questions out. If they say, yes, I have changed my address, well, then I can go and ask them for it. So what I'm thinking about is those clients who get really annoyed when they know they've given us a whole heap of information, and then that information, then I go and ask them for the same thing over and again. So we're about capturing the information we've already got and making sure that we don't frustrate the clients by asking questions that they don't have. But more importantly, we're saying we've got a tick process here. We're saying, I'm saying I hereby instruct Turniton to prepare the tax return for the financial year, where I require that question to be answered yes or no. And then I keep that information in there. So that's pretty cool. I won't go line by line. Those questions are very, very long and boring. Lots of stuff in there. But we can go through and you can sort of see the processes that we're working from within it.
What you've done here is you've built up in those questions a massive amount of intellectual property. If I had to individually sit with a pen and paper and ask my clients those questions, it would take a long time. And then what I'd have to do is I'd have to take them and enter them, double entry into some other type of system. So what we're doing at the moment is we've got them in there, and when you look at those results, at the moment, guys, Trevor is not responding to the survey. Trev, can you just hit respond to that survey there?
Yeah, I've got to go and delete my... I've got mine. I've had one I created earlier. So,
okay. It's a bit Blue Peter-esque.
Yeah, but I can start it again. So there it is. So this is how we answer it. So it's saying full name, Trevor, year of tax return that I'm doing, next. I hereby instruct, yes, I've created that. We can have a default that it always picks that up. If we say no, then if I said no on that question, it's going to go, okay, you've said no, no point going any further. One of our team is going to be in contact with you because there's no point carrying out and going forward on that. In this case, we'll say yes. We're clicking next on that. Are you a client of Turniton? I've said yes in this case, therefore it's not going to go jump through. If I say no, it's going to ask me, there's a little bit of it. Have you changed your address? I'm just going to fill that in yes or no. So there's choices there. Put in my details, address 1. And I can start adding in this information that I'm asking for on that basis.
Fantastic. All right. So if we cancel that, what do the results look like? Because so you're telling me I could take what you've done here as a basis, and then I could extend and enhance its functionality and the question specific to each individual accounting firm.
Sorry, Roland, I got stuck.
It's all right. No, that's fine. So what? Yes, the answer is yes. Okay, it was a rhetorical question. It's all right. I was saying to you, I could take what you've done here on the survey and then customize it for each of the accounting firms on this call.
Yep, we can customize all those responses. I've got, I can get graphical images of the responses that I want, because it is a survey.
Yep.
But also, I can get my responses in a XML format.
All right, so how would we do that if I'm just there? Yep, no, it's all right.
You want to point me
no,
to the
go
right
actions.
Oh, thank you, export.
All right, sorry. That's okay. You could...
That's not what I wanted, is it?
No, that is not. Why didn't that... It's not come out. It should, but basically what we can do is we can export the results into a spreadsheet. So guys, you could ostensibly, like Sue was saying, how would I have a link on my site? You could have a link on your site, and then you could set up some business process where the results from the spreadsheet from the previous day's responses to the survey would be processed by somebody in your logistics or administration department in preparation for their tax return completion.
I just don't have a link to. I've got to have a application that's going to open it. For some reason, it's not picking that up. But I have seen it. Now, this is where the juices start to hit. Okay, so we're running a bit on time. We're going to get you thinking about it. What I've started to then ask the question is, okay, if I get all of these answers in an XML format, and I can get those details into an XML format, well, I also know...
An Excel format, at least.
XML, because I know that the pre-fill reports from the ATO, where they give me all the information about what clients have in income, also come in an XML format.
Okay.
So I'm starting to hit our developers in their eyes, in between the eyes, and start saying, can we merge this data? And then can I import that data into my various tax applications? That then starts to change the whole game playing field.
All right, but what we do in these design change requests.
Just in case. Yeah, follow that idea, Trevor. So this is the beauty of having this link. Right now what we're seeing is we've got the link between the accountants of what they're looking for, and we've got the technicians like Roland and Nick and our developers, where I can go, can we do this? Can we make these changes? Where can we go with this? Because every time I ask Nick, can we do this? He always says yes, because there's nothing that we can't do. The question then starts to become is how much does it cost? Because we've got so many accountants as a part of our group, we can share and limit those. We can broaden those costs across things, and we can start to come up with those ideas. So keep the juices going, keep everything moving, keep everybody thinking about it, and let's see what we can create. It's really amazing. We've already created some amazing stuff just with the client portals, just with the document center, just with the email manager, with the template manager, with Scan Document Manager. Those applications that are available in subscription to our clients are already amazing technology. But we can keep going forward. So I'm really excited about it.
It's very good. Very good.
I think a lot of our clients are excited about it. So let's keep working forward.
Guys, collaboration is the new competition. So anything that you can share with Trevor, anything that you would like him to add, things say, hey Trev, have you thought about this in the survey? If we can share that and that IP and that knowledge, we can make this tool and this set of tools a much more powerful resource for everybody on the call. So Trevor, thank you very much for your time and your enthusiasm today. It's been amazing for me to really look at the business applications of Sharepoint, and there is so much we can do and so much functionality. So talk to your incumbent partner. Guys, have a play around with Sharepoint. I want you to think about the next financial year, FY17. How can we do things differently to improve our bottom line? That's what we're here for. We want to improve our bottom line. Good work, Trevor. Well done, everybody. Thank you very much. Trevor, thank you very much. We're not going to keep everybody too long.
Get moving, yeah.
All right, but Sonia, Jacinta, Daniel, Bobby, everybody on the call for your feedback. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week, same time, same place. We're going to be doing some stuff around Excel and extending the functionality of Excel. Are we not, Trevor?
Yeah, we are. And also, guys, just really before we go, what we're trying to do is create a really cool community on these calls. So if you've got other accountants you know of that are thinking about these sort of things, invite them along. Send them to the link on the website on the HubOne blog. Get them to come along and have a look at what we're doing, because the more people we get involved in this, as you know, we're not selling anything. We're just coming up with ideas. So,
all right, awesome. Excellent. Thanks, everybody. Have a fantastic week, and we'll talk to you soon. Cheers.
See you then.
Bye. Bye.